Let's talk supply chain. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Supply Chain. Now, before we begin, I always have a question for you. Despite the importance of sustainability initiatives, companies seem to be publicizing their efforts less and less. Is it because they're not making enough investment? Well, what percentage of companies in 2025 have sustainability investments that remain unchanged, meaning they haven't invested more than prior years? What do you think? Let me know your guesses over on social and keep listening because I'll let you know at the end of the show. So today I'm joined by a company that wants to transform the way your business moves. They're your single source for pallet program management. And who are they? Well, it's Pallet Alliance. Pallet Alliance is a strategic pallet management company that delivers procurement, logistics, and pallet optimization solutions. With their holistic approach, Pallet Alliance aims to reduce your operational costs, streamline pallet spend, and modernize the performance of your palletized program assets across your supply chain ecosystem. And today we have two guests for you. Mary Castillo, her expertise is in supply-based procurement and has been pivotal in fostering client relationships and propelling operational excellence. And Mary is joined by Aubrey Galbraith, a skilled supply chain professional with experience in structural engineering, the development of packaging solutions, and project management. And today we're going to be talking all about on-site audits and why they matter. We're going to be shining a light on how Pallet Alliance's team brings real value through detailed on-site audits, uncovering inefficiencies, identifying opportunities, and tailoring solutions that go beyond the standard pallet. So, welcome back to the show, Mary.
Hey, it's good to see you. Thank you for having us.
Good to see you too. And for the first time, welcome, Aubrey.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us. Happy to be here.
Yes, I'm excited. Now, Mary, we had a great conversation back in the summer where we got a bit of an introduction to Pallet Alliance. That was episode 482. Wherever you listen to the show, go and check that out. It's got some really great insights in there. We also did a LinkedIn Live together a few weeks ago now, talking about the importance of partnerships and collaboration. So I'm really looking forward to diving deeper today, bringing Aubrey into the conversation and talking about how businesses can identify real business value through pallets. So to kick us off, if each of you can introduce yourself, your background, and give us a bit of a taste of how you got to where you are now. Mary, I'm going to start with you, then we'll go to Aubrey.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Mary Casella, I'm the Senior Vice President of Business Development for Pallet Alliance. I like to tell everybody that I'm the professional friend maker. So I reach out, I talk to people, I introduce Pallet Alliance, what we do, how we do it. We work with large Fortune 100 to 500 companies, and we help them to procure pallets on a national scale with national programs, but we go beyond just procurement. So we take a scientific approach to unit load optimization, as well as making sure that organizations are using the appropriate pallet for their product, pallet or crate. And I've been in the pallet industry for about 10 years now, and I love what I do. I love this industry. I love pallet manufacturers. I love learning that, everything that organizations do when they are producing products. So it's pretty cool what I do. But because we use the scientific aspect approach to national pallet programs, this is why Aubrey is with us today, because Aubrey is part of our tech team, and I like to call our tech team the brains behind what we do. So Aubrey, go ahead and introduce
Well,
yourself.
and before he does that, I just
Oh yeah,
want to
sure.
say he's also the brand ambassador because he's got this excellent
Yeah.
Pallet Alliance hat that if you
I
go to
like to
the
be prepared.
website, you can buy. Just want to let everybody know. Anyway,
That's
sorry, Aubrey,
right.
go ahead.
No worries. I like to be prepared. Yeah, Aubrey Galbraith, everyone. I have a background in packaging systems and design engineering, with focus on sustainable biomaterials. So, graduated from Virginia Tech, started off in the automotive industry with steel-based packaging, Quickly moved into a plastics and corrugated style packaging industry. And from there, I found myself back in the wooden space. So as Mary mentioned, couldn't be happier. I'm a big pallet nerd and, wood scientist. So anything wooden packaging, crates, pallets, it's right up my alley. So
Wood
happy to be here again.
wood scientist. I never thought I would have a wood scientist on our show. And can I tell you how honored I am to have you today, Aubrey, to walk us through
Thank you.
the scientific nature of wood pallets and wood packaging. Love
I'll
it.
do my
Love it.
best.
And as somebody who has had pallets to be a big theme of her life and career, like me, I love talking about pallets. I think pallets are really, really cool, and they do not get the attention that they do deserve. And so we are going to do that more today. It's one of the reasons why I love working with Pallet Alliance, because I get to talk about pallets and it's one of my favorite things. So before we dive into all of that, Mary, can you give us a bit of a reminder about who Pallet Alliance is? Like, who are you? What do you do? How do you help your customers?
Yeah, so we partner with large organizations, and more oftentimes than not, we're asked to come in and take a look at what the current program is. So, obviously, things wouldn't get anywhere in the world if they didn't travel on something that was portable, right? So,
Hmm.
when pallets were created a long time ago to move products from A to B, you know, 30 years ago, exactly, or 35. Aubrey, correct me if I'm wrong, 30 plus,
30,
um,
30,
30
30
plus
plus.
years. Um, Pout Alliance was created to help organizations on a large scale with national programs to make sure that we are procuring the right product or right pallet for the right product. So what we do is we partner with over 3,500 pallet manufacturers across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and we work to create the alliance between manufacturing organizations and the right pallet or crate manufacturer to procure the right pallet or crate for the product with which they're going to ship somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have those great relationships. Um, United States, Canada, and Mexico with, we understand what pallet manufacturers have to do, how they do it, how they procure their products to create and manufacture pallets and crates. And then we just tie them all together to make sure that organizations are using the right program for their supply chain process.
Yeah, and in speaking to you on the last episode 482, and then also on that LinkedIn Live, I know that pallets have been a big part of my career, so I thought I knew quite a bit, and actually I didn't know very much until we started talking about all of this. And there's so many moving parts, so many different components, so many things to think about when it comes to choosing the right pallet. And there's so many benefits of choosing the right pallet that I don't know if all organizations really understand how important it is from a cost optimization standpoint, and how choosing the right palette really bleeds into almost every area of the business. And so, anyways, we're going to get into some of that. But on our last show together, it was in the summer. So we're about 6 months down the line now, towards the end of 2025. What does the landscape of the industry look like from your perspective right now? Like, what are the big challenges and opportunities for you, for your customers? We're winding down this year. We're looking into 2026, which I'll ask you to do a little bit later. But right now, what are we seeing? Hmm.
So right now, I think what we see a lot of are organizations trying to find those opportunities for cost savings. I think that's at the forefront of a lot of procurement teams to find the cost savings because of tariffs. Tariffs is a big thing. Everyone's just trying to figure out how to balance the appropriate costs for this. So a lot of times, what Pallet Alliance is asked to do is to come in and take a look at the current program. Once they find out about Pallet Alliance and the things that we can do, and I'm sure we'll talk about, on-site audits today, once they find out what we can do, they ask us to come aboard and take a look at what they're doing so we can then apply the knowledge and experience that we have specific to this industry. And because this industry plays such a big role in manufacturing, we've seen a big influx in requests just to, hey, can you just review what we're currently doing to see if there's any opportunities? And Pallet Alliance, we use IoT technologies to help track things for our customers, and a lot of people are asking about that. And then, of course, sustainability is always at the forefront of a lot of organizations. So with what we do and how we can apply scientific methods to pallet optimization and crate optimization, we're asked to come in and take a look at that. And I think that has increased. Pallet Alliance has been extremely busy, just offering to help a lot of organizations take a look at what they're currently doing and find those opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. And the fact that you're looking at it from so many different perspectives. I mean, who would have thought technology and pallets would go together
Holistic.
to
Yep.
make an optimization plan? But here we are, and that's what we're talking about. So, Aubrey, I want to bring you into the conversation because we're going to dive into some examples. But if you can give us a broad overview of how palette optimization can make an impact in light of some of the challenges and the opportunities that Mary just spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think optimization in terms of pallets is kind of a broad topic in itself, right? It comes into play in many different factors. It could be the type or amount of wood being used in your pallet. Is that going to fit your product or not, right? So it can come down to fasteners or what wood is readily available in your region. Depends on a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, optimizing the pallet, I think, comes down to shipping less air, right? Nobody wants to be shipping air. So making sure that your pallet fits your product, right? That comes into size, not only size, but weight, the fragility of the product. So it comes down to a lot of different factors, but I think optimizing the palette is really the basis of what kind of, like you said, stems into all these other branches of business and helps you, I guess, I keep wanting to use the word optimize, but helps you, I guess, I don't even know, make those cost-effective changes, those sustainable changes, exactly. So, sorry, but yeah.
No. The optimization word is great. And I think it really encompasses what that looks like and what it should mean to a customer. I mean, you were talking about weight, right? There's weight, there's size. Some things can be out of gauge. And so how do you, and then also I think it comes down to the safety of those that are moving products as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because the pallets also give an opportunity for those that are moving the product around to be safe as long as it's designed properly and
100%.
It fits the product properly. I mean, I've seen numerous occasions where somebody's using a pallet that does not work with that particular product, and all of a sudden it starts tipping as they are moving the forklift.
That's right. Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Exactly. Same thing.
I think
exactly.
I think something interesting to add to that too is just when you're talking about optimization, you're not just talking about optimizing the pallet or crate itself. You're talking about taking a look at a holistic approach to how is your manufacturing process currently working?
Exactly.
Are you using conveyor systems? Are you using palletizers? Are you, what robots are you using, and why are those lasers not reading the pallet appropriately?
Right.
There are so many things, and we've mentioned this, that are involved in what goes into creating an optimized wood packaging product that you have to take into consideration. That's why we call it a holistic approach. We're taking a whole view of what you're doing when we do an on-site audit to see what is the best option you have. Multiple options, right? We provide more than just one option, but multiple options of what can you do to make this process better? What can you do to make your packaging safer? What can you do to avoid damage? What can you do to avoid, and all that leads to cost, right?
Yeah.
How do we
Downtime,
implement
right?
something? Correct.
Right.
Downtime, it comes to capital. I
Hmm.
think it's a really
100%.
important point that you made, Mary, though, is that if we are looking at different systems within our warehouse, what does that look like? How is the
Exactly.
technology reading a pallet? Because a pallet is going to be a big part of your in and out strategy within your warehouse. And so if you're looking at new technology and you're looking to implement that, or maybe the robots, it might be a good time to take a look at your palette strategy as well to go hand in hand with that, because that could be something that could trigger, some downtime down the road, and people don't want that, but it might not be top of mind when you're thinking about that kind of technology. So I just wanted to give some time on that because I think that's an important point. Now, Mary, you talked about on-site audits. So, Aubrey, I want to know from you, like, what does that look like for customers? What do they have to share with you? What results can they expect from an on-site audit?
I think on-site audits are detrimental to the correct outcome of any project, really. These allow us to meet with the specific customer, understand their specific pain points, as you mentioned, what machinery they're using, how they're handled, what their products are, how much protection their products need, where their products are going, right? In that visit, we're able to also look at their specifications if they have any specifications. And lots of times we see that these things don't match what they're getting at all. And so they're seeing these pain points, they're seeing things break, they're seeing product not get to where it's supposed to go successfully, et cetera, et cetera. And it comes down to, the fit for purpose solution. And these on-site audits allow us to go in and see that face to face. We take our own measurements, we take pictures, notes, again, specifications if they have them on hand. We take all this information back with us, digest it, pick it apart, create specifications that are exactly what they need. That's a fit for purpose, matches what they're going to be getting. And so at the end of the day, it helps create a more cost effective and fit for purpose package, I guess, for that specific customer. Just because everybody's different, right? Every solution's different, every product's different. So
Yeah.
I think it's a major tool that we have in our bag for sure.
Mary, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies, I'm just going to use like a quick example. A lot of companies um, they have multiple manufacturing facilities. And although
Right.
they may be manufacturing the same product in
Great
different
point.
locations, like
Yeah.
okay, in California, a glass factory is making bottles in California, and the same glass factory is making bottles in New York. Well, the New York location that they have may have different conveyor systems, they have different employees, they have different forklift drivers, they have different, so
Floor plan,
how
right?
do, yeah, different floor plan. All of it plays a role. So when we do our on-site audits, we'll usually pick 3 or 4 different locations. And when we visit those locations, exactly what Aubrey said, is we're taking a look at everything in that facility that interacts with a pallet. And we're saying, okay, so you as a company, you're ordering a 4840 GMA pallet here at this location, and you're trying to do the same thing at this location, but here's what you're doing here, here's what you're doing there. How do we redesign a pallet for you that can work at both locations? Or can we just suggest, hey, you can't use the same pallet at both of these locations because your machinery is different.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
that's true.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I said, then you just start figuring out the logistics of where do you source from? How can you get that different pallet? Is the difference just the matter of a lead board being 5.5 inches or 3.5 inches? And those are the things that we're taking a look at, all the way down to the most specific thing that you will need, and that will impact your cost down the line and make you more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. And we
Mhm.
were talking about some of those inefficiencies that can come from not having the right program, not having the right pallets in place. And so I think, there's a few core opportunities that might be identified. And I think we're going to dive into those today. The first being custom size pallets and crates, which is what Mary has been alluding to just recently in this conversation. So, Aubrey, what are some of the benefits of that size customization? Like, do you have any examples that you can share for us? Mary did a great job in sharing that example of the 48 by 40 and whether that works in one location versus another. But I'm sure you have a few more that
Sure.
you could share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. To her point, it can be things as simple as deck board placement, right? So a customer of ours was seeing issues in one facility and not in another, just as she was just touching on. And we went to the site, saw firsthand, walking around, looking at all their operations, their lines, how they're handling these, where they're going, and this is kind of the cool thing about these on-site visits is I actually was pulled aside by a line worker, and they were saying, "Hey, are you here about pallets? Like you're the pallet guys, right?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what we're here for." They said, "We're seeing a lot of pain points on this one size, but none of the other sizes, and we just don't know why. Every time we pick it up with this specific pallet jack, this one board pops off every time, and we're having to manually drag our unit loads around the warehouse."
Wow.
And so in doing that, things can be a small change. It doesn't have to be $1 million customized change. We looked at this pallet and we found that the supplier at the time was just putting a deck board 6 inches too far towards the interior of the pallet. So every time a pallet jack was used, the pallet would just pop apart. So it was, a simple customization, if you will, of a pallet that was already fit for purpose in terms of shape, size, capacity, whatever, but it was just the incorrect placement. It didn't match their spec. So just little things like that can come down, can really make a big impact. And then there's things that are much larger than the crate space, right? So you could be shipping cases of water in a 10-foot long crate, but if that doesn't take up the whole space of the crate, you're shipping a lot of air, like we touched on earlier. So there's a lot of different avenues, a lot of different factors that come into it. But yeah, customization, I think, is very important in terms of your long-term efficiencies and your return on that. So,
Well, and it's not only like making sure that you're using all of the space within the crate, but you also
sure.
need to make sure from a shipping perspective that crate, depending on the size of that crate
Right.
and how much room it's going to take potentially in a container or a truck, that you're
Correct.
not leaving empty space that you're potentially going to pay for because they
Right.
can't maximize the space of the truck
Absolutely.
or the container. And that goes to, stacking. Right.
Sure.
And so when you're thinking about the pallet and you're thinking about the product on the pallet, you want to make sure that the height, like I'm sure you tell them, the
Cubing out the
generalized
truck, right?
height that it needs to be at and
That's
whether
right.
they can be stacked or not double stacked, because in a
Right.
truck, if you're only taking up half the room, they want to put a pallet on top of there, right?
Of
And
course.
so,
Absolutely.
it's not just what's happening within the crate, it's really what's happening when that pallet or that crate leaves and what are you paying for on that truck and that container.
100%. Right.
Yeah. Mary, do you have anything else to add there?
Yeah, so when that happens, that's where those cost saving opportunities come into play. So when we talk about total cost of ownership with pallets and crates, we're not just talking about the product itself, the pallet or the crate. We're talking about the entire supply chain process that the pallet and crate interact with. So it's like an entire universe that's out there. And that's why I say I love this. I love this industry because there are so many factors that play a role in this industry because of what pallets and crates interact with.
Mm-hmm.
So you're keeping your product safe. You're reducing the amount of air that you're shipping. You're making sure that the crate you're putting underneath another crate has the load capacity to take that crate and the products that's in that crate on top of it. So the crate on the bottom has to be able to handle the crate that's being put on top.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just the again, Aubrey and our tech team, they're the brains behind the science of it all because they've all gone to college to do this. But I'm the business development aspect where I just get to talk about this stuff. But I love working with our tech team
Mhm.
because of how much I learn every single day. There is something new to learn about this industry every single day because it has to do with the entire supply chain.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. And when we think about, you said total cost of ownership, but I also think about cost to serve and the cost to
Yeah.
serve our customers. So if you're shipping that product and you're having to pay for more space than you're using because of the awkward shape of your crates or your pallets, that goes to the cost to serve of that customer. And if you can reduce that and maybe increase some of your margins, it's not necessarily always where you think cost savings will be or cost optimization could be. There's ways of thinking outside of the box. Hey, did you like that one?
Thinking outside the crate.
Thinking
Your
outside
joke
the
was great.
crate. I wish I came up with that one. Mary every time. Anyways, if you think outside of the crate, you know, there's other places that you might be missing if you don't know what you're looking for. So, I want to talk about cost, right? We've just talked about cost optimization and things like that. I would assume that custom size pallets and crates would be more expensive in the shorter term. But I really want to ask both of you, like, is that the case? And if so, what does that timeline look like when it comes to an ROI? Like, how fast are we seeing ROI after doing the audit, signing on with Pallet Alliance and really getting our pallet program optimized as to where it should be? Aubrey, I'm going to start with you and we'll go to Mary.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, in the industry, everybody, or at least my perception of it, is when you hear customization, you think expensive, right? Like, that's what I think of in terms of anything. Custom anything is going to be expensive. But from where I come from, what my role is, I find it as an opportunity. It's kind of like solving a puzzle, right? Trying to make these cost savings, make these sustainable changes and redesigns all at the benefit of your customers so that they're not seeing an increase in cost or an increase in their inefficiencies, right? So, yeah, I think for me, my goal is to give an ROI immediately in terms of immediately saying, we go through our on-site audit, right? We make our designs, we make our specs, we find those vendors that are local to you. We get our pricing, our costing together, and we present back an option, a solution to you that is cost effective, maybe more sustainable than what you're using currently, and gets the job done correctly, of a quality that you're expecting, and hopefully, again, as a cost savings. But in terms of ROI and timeline, it can be as quick as the turnaround of a spec being made and a quote being given. But again, I don't like to say that customization is always going to be an expense, right? Or an increase in your total cost. I think it is an opportunity for savings.
Yeah, I like that you said that. And I think ROI can mean different things to different people, right? Like if you're
Sure,
able to help
100%.
them hit some of their sustainability goals through
Right.
the program that you've created, that could potentially be, maybe a third of the ROI or a quarter of the ROI
Sure.
that the company is looking for. And so it really depends on who you're talking to.
100%.
Mary?
I can use an example, just a recent example, that I was working with our tech team with a potential client, and this potential client was currently using a combo pallet. That means that the combo pallet is made of both new and recycled material. So it would have new stringers, maybe recycled top deck boards, and that's a cost saving method that a lot of people use. They switch from new to combo, and if that hasn't met their goals yet, they want to go from combo to all recycled. Um, but what was interesting about that was that they were asking for something very specific with their pallet. They wanted new stringers, which are the center boards that hold them together. And
Okay,
they
thank you.
wanted,
I was going to ask you.
yep, the stringers. And then there's block pallets. A lot of people see the block pallets everywhere. Those are just made with either wood blocking or composite blocks. So what they wanted was they wanted the recycled center deck boards to be a specific species of lumber. Now, we like to call that a unicorn pallet because when you are using recycled material and you are a recycled pallet manufacturer, you're really not taking the species of lumber and separating
Right.
it into different piles. You're taking you're taking the recycled deck boards and you're throwing them in the sizes that they are. You're not paying attention to what species it
Right.
is, softwood, hardwood, whatever. So what Pallet Alliance was able to do was to reach out to our network of partners and say, this may not be lucrative to create because you have to pay someone to do that specific sorting.
Right.
So we were able to actually find a pallet manufacturer who would build the specification that we need with the species that we needed for this customer at a cheaper cost. Brand new, completely brand new.
Wow.
So so it all depends on, the partners that you have. If you work with them and you know and understand what they can do, which is something we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, if you know and understand what they can do, you then know what their capabilities are to provide you what the customer actually needs. Now, that customer was seeing a lot of fees coming from their customer because of the quality of the recycled pallet deck boards. So we just completely removed the fees that they were receiving from their customer and provided them with a cost-effective option to go with an all-new pallet, the species with which they required to hold their product. And that was just because we have that network, we understand the capabilities of that network, and we were able to create the alliance between that, aka Pallet Alliance. We were to create that alliance with that particular pallet manufacturer and that particular customer, and we gave them exactly what they needed at a reduced cost, even though they went from a combo pallet to a brand new pallet.
Right. That's
So
awesome. Why would somebody need a specific species? Is that like just preference
well,
or
I mean, I can have Aubrey answer that because
I
he
was
is the
gonna say.
scientist. I
all
can
right,
give an
Aubrey.
answer. He's the smart one here.
No. I think it again, there's lots of different factors. It could be regionally, what's available that's going to be efficient to get and build out of that still keeps their capacities. The other thing could be their capacities. Certain wood species are a lot stronger than others. Some allow more flex than others while still adhering to a certain strength. So it depends on a lot of different things. Their conveyor systems, are their products bouncing as they're going down the rolling system. So we need stiffer or less stiff wood, right? Things of that nature. It's very situational. And I think because there are so many species of wood, it allows our job to be a little bit easier in that way. Things to choose from, different options, different avenues. But
yeah, I only asked that because in the example Mary shared, they had asked for a specific species. And so I wasn't sure if that was just them coming to the table and be like, no, we need this one. Or if they brought it to the table and you guys were like, yes, we agree with you that you need this one. Now we're going to take it away and figure out what that can look like.
Right.
That's figuring out the why also, right? You're asking your customer, why do you need this?
Yeah.
Why do you need this unicorn pallet? Because if you have a good reason other than we've just been doing this for the last 50 years, this is what we need to do, then we get to introduce the science behind it and we get to say, hey, did you know and understand that the molecules of a hardwood pallet are much different than the molecules of a softwood pallet?
Right.
And that there are some softwoods that are just as strong as some lower dense hardwoods? And you can interchange that and you can use the wood science, right, behind everything. And just I feel like a lot of our job is just educating, or just sharing the knowledge that we have and just giving suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to you to make the change. We can just suggest to you, hey, here's a better option for you, and here's how it'll affect your costs.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and again, it's not just about cost, right? I think palette redesign and what we're talking
Yeah.
about right now, Aubrey alluded to this earlier, is also about, and we've talked about this too, it's about sustainability. Um, Aubrey, can you share with us how some of those smarter designs can also be key to like your clients' green initiatives? Because I think it's important. I mentioned it earlier that part of that ROI doesn't necessarily need to be cost savings. It could be
Sure.
to help them hit some of their sustainability goals as well. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think redesign and sustainability are hand in hand, right? So when we're doing our design processes, we'll look at those readily available species. We'll look at how much wood and fiber is going into that board, right? How much wood are you using in that pallet, in that crate, in that package? And we'll try and pull out as much of that as we can while still accomplishing your load capacities, again, all the things we've touched on. But in that, it trickles down to kind of what you were touching on in terms of cubing out truckloads, right? If you're able to fit a much leaner pallet or crate on a truck, still transporting your product safely, but you can fit twice as many on a truck now, say, well, then your efficiencies down the road, your carbon footprint, not only for the wood, but for your logistics side of things, are also going down. So you're getting that return back over time just by making a redesign that is a little bit more sustainable, whether it be different fasteners, wood species, amount of wood. Again, it's a lot of different factors, but I think in a whole, like you keep mentioning, is that it touches all different aspects of the business, right?
Yeah. Well, and Mary and I talked about this on the LinkedIn Live, I think, as well, because I had asked about plastic versus wood, and Mary
Right.
had talked about that the carbon footprint on wood is a lot better than the plastic, but also there's a lot of options in reusing, recycling. I think, Mary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Aubrey.
Right. Yep, that's what I was going to touch on too. Is there's different options. You don't always have to get a new package, right? You don't have to cut down a fresh tree and cut a new board and get everything brand spanking new. We can use recycled lumber, whether that's 100% recycled lumber in your solutions, or if it's recycled deck boards with brand new stringers, or any combination of that. So if you're reusing the wood over and over and over until it can't be used anymore, that's a lot better than building something new every single time, right? If it's a one-way purpose or if it's a loop pallet, yeah, it comes down to a lot of different things. But I
Yeah.
think the recyclability of it, the reusability of it is
Yeah.
just as important.
Well, and the repurposing, because you can actually repurpose it. I
Exactly.
think it was Mary that told me that most of the
Yeah,
mulch that we
Oh
use
yeah.
comes from pallets.
comes from
Oh yeah.
pallets. Hmm.
Yep.
That is awesome. So, Mary, talk to me about next steps. Like, how would a company kick off their on-site audit with you and Pallet Alliance?
Absolutely. So you can visit our website and reach out to us and just put in a uh I just was thinking like put in a compliment. You can compliment us too. I'm happy to accept those.
Please
Um,
do.
That's fine too.
you can actually put in a request if you just give us some information on our website. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to Pallet Alliance on LinkedIn, social media, where, you know, wherever you can reach out to me in person if you see me at an event. I go to a lot of events every year. And if you submit a request for an audit, we can provide that for you. It's no cost. It is at no
Right.
cost to you. Pallet Alliance definitely believes in making things more efficient, making your supply chain more efficient, making your national pallet program more efficient. And we believe in it because we do believe in sustainability, and we do believe in education and teaching people that these are things to consider when you're trying to, you know, transform your supply chain. Think about it from the ground up. Think about
Right.
it, you know, literally include the pallet from the ground up, and have that be the most efficient approach to your program. So reach out to me. You'll see Aubrey also. Reach out to Aubrey. But again, you can just visit our website. Our website has a contact us link. You can fill that out, and we will get in touch with you. We will follow up with you, and we'll get you on the schedule, and we'll
You'll make
We'll come
magic
visit.
happen,
We
Mary,
do.
because
That's
that's what
We
you
right.
do.
do. But from talking to you over the last few months and learning more about Pallet Alliance, you're really very much about partnership and
Yeah.
collaboration as well. And so I just want to put that out there because
Mhm.
I think that's an important part of, choosing the right partner to be able to help you navigate some of these things because you want to make sure that you're armed with all of the information because you don't want to be making decisions, not knowing some of the details and some of the things that could make a big difference. And so I think that's important to point out. Now, I know we're at the end of our conversation, and I want both of you to get out your crystal ball because this is what I like to do to guess. What do you think 2026 is going to look like for Pallet Alliance and for the industry? Aubrey, I'm going to start with you and then I'm going to end
Oh,
with Mary.
yeah. I mean, I think it's looking great. Things are looking up. Um, things have been extremely busy as the year's coming to a close, which is great. And I think the trend's going to carry on into the new year as we move into the spring. Hopefully, that business keeps flowing. Like Mary mentioned, we're the pallet nerds. We like providing those solutions. We like helping out. So yeah, really positive outlook on the new year, and yeah, excited to keep working.
Awesome. What about you, Mary? Give me your
I
crystal
think with
ball. What's happening?
oh,
What do you got
it's
coming
gonna
up?
magic. Like you
That's
said,
right.
magic. No, we've been working with a lot of organizations to implement current programs currently as we work with them, we're going to be able to see the outcome of that. I also think right now, technology is a huge thing. A lot of organizations are looking to the future of technology and how it can benefit them. I think Pallet Alliance is working really hard to stay with that and to help organizations implement the technologies that we have for them and help people get to where they need to be. Sustainability will always stay at the forefront. Technology will always stay at the forefront. And what we're noticing is that a lot of organizations are trying to enhance their current programs. And we just want people to know that, hey, Pallet Alliance is here. We're here to help. We're here to partner with you. You have to work with us just
Right.
as much as we have to work with you. And I think because of that, Pallet Alliance is going to be doing very well. And we're just going to continue to grow and continue to um, make life more efficient.
Isn't that what all supply chain professionals and leaders want to hear? I mean,
That's
that's just
right.
music to their ears, Mary.
Yeah.
So it's funny because we talk a lot about digital at the moment and getting everything online, but it's true that there's still a lot of impact that can be made face to face. Like people can tell you their problems in a platform or over an email, but businesses might not even be aware of the problems they have. So I've really enjoyed hearing how your on-site audit can really uncover those hidden inefficiencies, identify opportunities, and develop tailored solutions that can drive huge benefits across cost, efficiency, sustainability, operations, even. So, listeners, make sure to go ahead and get your free audit booked in after this show. And did you have a guess at today's big question? Well, at the top of the show, I asked you what percentage of companies in 2025 have sustainability investments that remain unchanged? Well, it's a huge 48%. So, for many businesses, it's even more critical to identify sustainability initiatives that don't require additional investment. And that could come from your pallets. So, if you're looking for a partner to help you transform how you think about packaging, head over to tpai.com. And remember to subscribe, rate, review the show. Check out more content from the best and brightest over on letstalksupplychain.com. We've got incredible guests, innovative strategies, and transformative solutions you cannot afford to miss. So, want to give a massive thanks to the team at Pallet Alliance for making this episode happen. And of course, Mary and Aubrey for joining me today.
Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
so
you.
much for having us. This is a
Yeah,
blast.
All right. Well, that's
absolutely.
me, Sarah Barnes Humphrey of Let's Talk Supply Chain.